A lot of people think that there is no substitution for an IDE, but they don't realize that there's actually a very powerful substitution command in Vim. Let's see how it works. So let's say you're working with, in this scenario, a JSON file. And the first thing you notice, wow, everything's red. What this is telling me is that this is actually not a valid JSON file. The way I'm able to do that, just so you know, is I have syntax on. If I were to turn it off, that's what it looks like. But let me go ahead and turn it back on. And the first issue I see is that I'm using single quotes instead of double quotes in this entire file. So if I wanted to change that really quickly in Vim, I could use the substitution command as such. I do $%s, and then I type in what I want to change, in this case a single quote. Then I type out what I want to change it to, and then I finally end with the G. The G stands for global in this scenario. The % is saying to affect the entire file with this command. So let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Alright, so now we see 80 substitutions occurred across 25 different lines. It's looking a lot better. Let's see how I could have done that differently, or what if I passed in something different to the substitution command. So I had done this, %s, I type in single quote, double quote, G. Now let's say I wanted to double check everything before it actually applied the change I'm requesting. So I can pass in a C right after the G, and that stands for check. So if I'd enter, now it's going to go one by one and ask me if I want to change each one individually. If I hold the Y button, I can go quicker. If I don't want to apply it for one particular scenario, I could hit the N letter as much as I want to avoid certain things. If I want to quit at this point, I just hit the letter Q. Alright, so let's undo these changes again. Now let's say I want to again do the %s, and I type in single quote, double quote, and instead of passing G, I just end it here. What this is going to do is only going to change the very first instance that it finds in each line. So if there's multiple instances of what you're trying to change and what you change it to, you're only going to change it once per line. So we see that here. Each line I went through, it just did one change. So now let's say we don't do the % in our command, and what's going to happen here is it's only going to affect the single line that I'm on. If I had passed in the G, it would have affected the entire line, not just the first instance. The substitution command in Vim is super helpful if you need to quickly change a lot of variables. In this case, I was changing JSON, but it can be used for anything. If you didn't know how to use substitution, or if you learned something new here, you want to continue seeing this type of content, go ahead, please subscribe and like this video. Thank you.